Hello, and welcome to the Press Y Podcast, episode 14. Before we get into the gaming news this week, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, follow us on Twitter, all the fun stuff. But we have a great episode for you guys this week. We have a bit of news we're going to talk about and just share our gaming thoughts for this week. As always, joining me is Emerson.
Hello, and welcome to the Press Y Podcast, episode 14. We're talking about news and various other things.
Do not repeat me. Do not repeat me.
I was doing my intro.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm glad that you're practicing. That makes me happy.
Yes.
So you're a good brand new co-host. All right, Emerson, you want to start us off? Because
so there was
news
some
that you like.
Quick Pokemon update for a few things. Currently active, there is an event for Shiny Lunala and Solgaleo at GameStop through the app Pokemon Pass. If you go there and you'll get the code through your Pokemon Pass, you put that into your 3DS for Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And if you put it in for Sun or Ultra Sun, you'll get the shiny Solgaleo, and vice versa for Moon Ultra Moon, you'll get your shiny Lunala. This expires on November 10th. It's currently active, and my big question with this is, okay, well, they're now just releasing these shiny forms because they were previously shiny locked. You could not get them legitimately. And so I was wondering if this means that they're going to be able to come to Galar, or if this is their way of bookending the 3DS saga of saying, okay, we've released a lot of the Tapus from Gen 7 as shinies, and now you can finally get Solgaleo and Lunala in their shiny form, and they will stay on the 3DS where they belong because they can't come to Galar. And I lean more on the side where this is bookending the 3DS Pokemon games with the shiny forms, kind of wrap it all up leading into Sword and Shield, because I don't know why these would be able to be achieved or obtained in Galar, especially with the cuts, because their whole thing was, well, they wouldn't naturally be found there, they wouldn't be in the game. Okay, well, Lunala and Solgaleo are from Ultra Space, which connects to the Alolan region. There is no reason they should be in Galar. So, that being said, I think this is their way of bookending the 3DS saga with the shiny forms of the most recent box legendaries, and go get them at GameStop through Pokemon Pass before November 10th.
All I know is I don't want to go to GameStop, and I also don't like Pokemon. I mean, I'm excited for Sword and Shield, but it's two things that aren't appealing to me directly.
Well, here's one less thing that's one less unappealing thing to you. If you do go to Best Buy between November 4th and November 14th, you can pick up a Mewtwo for Let's Go, which will for sure be in Galar because it's from Let's Go. So if you go to use a Pokemon Pass, the exact same app, what a way to use that app. Oh boy. They're replacing mystery gifts with codes they give you digitally.
Wait, what even is Pokemon Pass?
So Pokemon Pass is an app. It's a digital app. Of course, digital. It's an app basically.
Like my iPhone?
Yeah, it's iPhone, Android. Okay. Basically, all it is, there's certain events at locations. So what you used to do for mystery gifts, you would go into GameStop with your 3DS, go on their Wi-Fi, and then boom, you can go mystery gift and Pokemon pop into your game. Basically, now all you do is, I did this for a Let's Go event for a shiny Pikachu or Eevee. I did it on May 31st and still haven't redeemed it yet, but whatever. Basically, you go into Target. So I went to Target, you're in the location, you open your app, and it basically just says completed, and then it'll just give you a code. So you type that code into your game, and it'll download one of the Pokemon to your game. And so if you go to Best Buy between the 4th and the 14th of November, it'll give you a Mewtwo, I think level 60, for Let's Go only, and then for you to transfer it up into Sword and Shield when it launches on the 14th.
I wonder how good or how beneficial a marketing deal like that is for a company like Best Buy.
For Best Buy, probably not very.
I mean, I don't go to Best Buy other than just to showroom stuff for Amazon.
Well, I think honestly, this is a better thing for GameStop than just for Best Buy, just because the Mewtwo you can already get in game in Let's Go. Lunala and Solgaleo for Sword or Sun and Moon.
Let me just stop you. You still have to go into GameStop, so I don't think that there's a bonus here.
Well, still, these Pokemon have been shiny locked for 2 to 3 years.
No. You still have to go into GameStop. It's not worth it.
I go there constantly. I get frequent discounts with all my coupons. Right. I have my $5 rewards. I keep cashing in.
Wait, what? You get $5 rewards?
Yeah, I'm part of that. I'm like Elite Pro, so I get a bunch of points.
No, I thought they canceled that.
I still have my card, and I still get like $5 every month. I get like a $5 off coupon based on my commission of points or whatever. So
just like for interesting.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to take advantage of that.
I think I'm grandfathered in or something like that.
Yeah, because I still have my Ultimate Pro whatever card.
Nobody cares. Moving on. Okay, so
anyway.
Junichi Masuda. I'm kidding.
Who's Genji Masuda?
Junichi Masuda is the Pokemon grandfather. He's been around forever. Even like the breeding method for shinies is called the Masuda method because Junichi Masuda has been around Pokemon for a long time.
But what is he actually?
He's a developer.
Okay.
So Junichi Masuda said in an interview recently when being asked about the Pokédex and how that affected him and being influenced in future games, he said, and I'm going to do my best Japanese voice, and I'm just kidding. He said about the Pokédex.
The show.
Yeah, you see these sort of negative comments, and it does, as a developer, make you feel a bit down about certain things. But at the same time, you have to take criticism. For example, with Pokemon Let's Go, early on there were lots of comments that it was too easy or was kind of a bit too kid-focused and that sort of thing. And now here's the key bit of the quote. That sort of comment is something you see and you take on board and really try to base improvements in the next game on feedback you received from the last one. And so that really...
That's idealistic.
That's the best case scenario for Sword and Shield, is saying, okay, we heard your feedback from Let's Go that it was too kid-focused and too easy, and we're going to make this a bit more of a challenge.
But I mean, I think they knew that. Like, that was kind of the entire audience of Let's Go was people who played Pokemon Go. It's literally called Let's Go. And it even has Pokemon Go integration. Like, the whole reason they made that game was to have an easy game for people who play Pokemon to get into.
Yes, comma, but. The thing with the but there is that there was the only option they had for any returning fans that wanted any challenge was these super trainers, which was, okay, well, you can only fight my Charizard with your Charizard. If you win, you get your, you get a gold star, you can put your Charizard trainer on your title, whatever. And it was just, do you want to grind everyone level 100? Well, no. Well, that's your post-game. Grind every Pokemon to level 100, and then battle your trainer. And it was there was nothing there other than shiny hunting, I guess. There was nothing for competitive or returning fans because the metagame was absolutely busted with no abilities, with Megas too, because Mega Aerodactyl, due to there being no abilities, that thing that outspeeds everything in Gen 1. On top of it, they're now being, all of its checks, their abilities are gone, or Levitate's gone. You have a lot of moves to remove hazards, like Stealth Rocks are gone. So it was just a disaster for a metagame, which is why Sun and Moon still has a metagame. Let's Go doesn't. And so at least with Sword and Shield, even if there is we want to make sure our game's a bit more difficult, or at least a bit has the option for hard play. Because even with Let's Go, for the first gym, you have to have a grass type to enter, or to the type of Pokemon that's good against the gym leader to enter. Which is a bit like, okay, you're going to make me come in there with an Oddish or a Bellsprout to win. Yeah,
that was so hand-holdy.
It was very hand-holdy. They've been that way for a couple generations. At least with Gen 6 was that way a lot, and so was Let's Go. 7 was hand-holdy, but also they had some good challenge to it. But I hope they kind of go back to what they did with Gen 5, where it's like, okay, you want to play the easy mode, or we'll give you a difficulty option. I much prefer that. I want to see that again. Granted, you had to beat the game to get that option, but even still, the option was there for players to come back to and have a more difficult experience. Yeah. So hopefully they have at least a more challenge-focused game. Let's Go, where the AI won't even take out your Pokemon if they have the option.
Honestly, I think they will. It seems like it's turning out to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You want to mention the wild area?
No, because you know about this. You mentioned it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so and again, I'm not the Pokemon stan here, but I did see that the wild area in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So it's the big open area that's pretty close to the beginning of the game. Like you can just encounter wild Pokemon, and I think you can set up camps and cook curry. Yeah, you can cook curry. It's the size of 2 Breath of the Wild regions, so it's pretty substantial. In an interview, Pokemon Company was talking about how the online area is actually, the wild area is actually always online, assuming you have internet connection. So it's always online, so you can see other trainers running around, which is pretty interesting. Me and Emerson were discussing earlier how he was wondering if the Pokemon that you see are they running on a server side, or are they running locally? To technologicify his question, and that isn't immediately answered in this interview, but my assumption would be that all of the Pokemon are probably local. And then the only multiplayer thing is interacting with other trainers, as well as the raid battles that we've seen in previous trailers and stuff. They also mentioned in the interview that if you're connected to others locally, so with Bluetooth or whatever, you can you can go into the wild area that way as well. And so it's not fully dependent on just being online.
So
And
I wonder if the local is in your immediate vicinity, or if you actually have to be near the console and connected to them.
No, you have to be connected to them. At least that's what it sounded like in the interview. But we'll
okay, because Pokemon in Gen 6 had the player search system, the PSS, which would show you everybody nearby you. And so I wonder if because if they incorporate that in there, would show you everyone nearby is playing. Here's your local area, and therefore you can talk to someone or whatever. You can go online, find people automatically. But I
would
wonder,
guess not because of the raids.
Yeah, well, my concern with with wild, I don't know how the wild area works. I've not followed up with much. I've been keeping out of the Sword and Shield news. Although from what I gather, they've been very, very vague about the game, which I much prefer because with Gen 7, they blew everything pre-launch. They showed all the starter evolutions, abilities, all the legendaries, all the Ultra Beasts. Everything was shown pre-launch. And so I'm glad they've been very, very close to the vest on this. But so I don't know, from what I'm assuming the wild area is just like any other area, but it has a connectivity to see trainers if they're nearby or if you're online. But I'm hoping it doesn't operate like the Friend Safari, where once you connect with someone and then the Pokemon show up in your area. So what I think it could be is like, well, once you have your connections and then people leave, well, there are certain Pokemon that correspond with their friend code will be in your area. I'd rather it just be set encounters, not counting raids, and then having it function completely offline regardless of people you encountered before.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
We will.
God, it's almost November. Isn't that so crazy?
Yeah, it's about 3 weeks or so until.
Yeah, about 3 weeks, and then we'll see. Hopefully, Amazon delivers my game on time.
Go to Walmart.
Yeah, I'm going. I literally just canceled. I think I texted you this. But
you did.
To the audience. I love Amazon. It's one of my favorite companies. That's a hot take because they put so many other small businesses out of business. But the one thing though that they consistently disappoint me with is pre-orders, especially for games. I mean, the likelihood of you getting a game that you pre-order on the day that they say they're going to deliver it, meaning the day of its release, is it's like a 50-50, maybe even a 40-60. It's so difficult to get games the day of. But yeah, let's move on.
Yep.
So, Oculus Quest. Ooh, Emerson, have you heard of the Oculus Quest before?
Nope.
Okay, well, let me kind of explain it to you. So, Oculus Quest is a standalone VR headset, and so developers will develop their games specifically for the unit rather than developing for PC and then porting to like PS4 and all that for VR. And so it's like a dedicated device for it. Well, the Oculus Quest came out earlier this May. Oh, I will, buddy. The Oculus Quest came out earlier this year in May, and now it's sold 400,000 units, which is awesome. So, according to GameDaily.biz, the Quest is actually selling better than the Vive and the Rift at the same point in their lifetime, which is it's kind of crazy. Eventually, one analyst was saying that this all-in-one is actually expected to leapfrog high-end PC headsets and just eventually surpass them in sales. That was what that means. And another big draw to this headset is that developers have made really good money off of it, so it's a good platform to go to. In fact, in the first 2 weeks, I believe, there was 5 million in sales, which is crazy on such a small install base. And so that's been really surprising for developers. But again, it's a dedicated device. And I think honestly, this is the immediate future of VR. VR has struggled for a while to really find its place in the market. Obviously, we have the Rift S now, which is a more affordable PC headset. In fact, I believe it's the same price as the Oculus Quest. But an all-in-one is much more simple and easy for consumers to understand.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue right now with VR is there's a lot of wires.
A lot of wires, but even still, like the PSVR is a straightforward but still wired setup. Mm-hmm. And same thing with the Oculus Rift S. But then you have something like the HTC Vive or the Valve Index, which have both been industry leading for a while. But those, man, I mean, you have to fully set up a room for that. You have to place sensors around the room and all that, and it's very expensive as well. But I do think that the immediate future for VR is these standalone headsets, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, I really want a VR headset. I mean, I don't have the money to shill out for one of those right now, nor really the space for it. But
Buy Pokemon.
that's
Buy this instead.
but I've been really wanting to play Beat Saber. In fact, my college on the esports club, they have a collegiate Beat Saber team, which is really hype, like super hype.
You have all
Emerson,
the fun gaming ones. Where I go, it's like, we have one Smash tournament for 20 guys, and no one shows up.
And then we have a Smash tournament with 100 people consistently show up.
Yeah.
Like, freaking North Texas Smash, baby. Actually, I'm not in North Texas. Y'all don't know where I am. That's actually true. I'm not.
He's in Australia. He's hiding away.
I am somewhere
He's
that
in the
has a
land down
Smash
under.
team in Texas. But moving on, and talk about some more, things that
I'm going to talk you into
involve
this.
buying. So Wario64 tweeted out earlier this week. I saw this tweet, made me very elated. That
In
he
more
got word
ways
that
than
there's-
one.
Oh, shut up. There's a PlayStation 4 holiday bundle coming out this year. So you remember last year, especially you, Emerson, because you actually bought this bundle.
Yep.
But there was a PS4 Slim that came with a controller and Spider-Man, and it was $200. Did it come with anything else, or was it just Spider-Man and
I
controller?
mean, it's all the wires as a console. I thought it was 150, but it could have been 200. But it was
150?
I thought it might have been 150.
I thought it was 200 because I saw that and I was like, oh my god, that's such a good deal.
I can't remember. Either way, I got the Spider-Man bundle for PS4. It had one controller. It had the Slim, at least. It was a Slim, not an actual PS4.
Yeah, it's a Slim. It's a Slim.
It's
well,
a
this is
Slim.
what this bundle is supposed to have as well.
Okay, so
It's a
but
Slim.
it only had the one game on there with Spider-Man. But honestly,
was it physical?
It was a what?
Was it a physical game?
Yes, it was in case. It was a case game.
Okay,
So it
yeah,
wasn't a
because
code.
this bundle is supposed to include Last of Us Remastered, God of War, and Horizon Zero Dawn. So 3 games and a PS4 Slim, which is a insane deal. And everyone's assuming it's supposed to be $200. Wario64 was alluding to that.
Yeah, especially coming into the life cycle of the PS4. There's no reason this should be 250 or 300.
At this point, they're literally just trying to get as many off the shelves as possible.
Yeah.
It's all numbers at this point. Because, I mean, the production cost this many years into them having this product.
Yeah.
And
honestly, if it's $200, you definitely should get this just because when you trade in for PS5, you're going to get at least $150 off at or around.
That's what I was going to talk to you about. So I was actually really considering buying this. So I don't actually have a PlayStation 4. I've been wanting one for a long time. I've been content with my gaming PC and my Switch, but there's so many PlayStation exclusives I've been really wanting to play. It's on a dark side. I just really want one. But yeah, so I was trying to figure out how to justify the $200 for that, and I thought about it. I was like, wait, I don't have any interest in collecting this. Like I enjoy collecting the games, but not the actual console itself. I can just trade in for a PS5 and I'll still have a backwards compatible product.
Especially to
getting it's $150.
Well, yeah, if you look at Last of Us, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, right there is, low end $80. God of War is still mostly full price. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, if it's definitive editions, maybe 20. And then Last of Us Remastered is definitely that's 30 to 40.
That's cheaper. Yeah, that's cheaper. But still, that is a
that plus the concept of $200, that's a great thing. And then trading it in for the PS5, I'd bet 150 trade-in value. I could just go towards a new console.
I'd even take 100. I'd even take 100.
Yeah, even still, the value you got out of that while playing the games. Well, was it worth $100 to have a year of a PS4? Well, sure. I think that's up to you. But I think ultimately that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, but we have Death Stranding coming out soon. I'm so looking forward to that game. That's another big motivation for me getting a PlayStation.
But do you know what's not coming out soon?
What's not coming out soon?
Our next topic. Last of Us 2 has been delayed.
Oh no!
Talk about the transition there, boy.
When games get delayed, I get mad and I get upset because games should never be delayed, right, Emerson?
They should be released when they're announced.
They should, yeah.
All games should be shadow dropped, whether they're finished or not. Dude, Minecraft put out the alpha version. That's all I care about.
Everything in early access, please. I want to pay $15 for your game that doesn't work. So
I want to pay however much they pay for Fallout 76 for also not to work.
Yes.
I want to shell up hundreds of dollars for not to work.
We will get to that. But yeah, so The Last of Us 2 actually just got delayed. And this is kind of surprising news since only recently.
Yeah, they just announced the release date.
Yeah, they're like February 2020. But they've moved it to May 29th of next year. So Neil Druckmann, I almost say Drunkman, of Naughty Dog, said, quote, "We realized we simply didn't have enough time to bring the entire game up to a level of polish we would call Naughty Dog quality." again, I'm all for delays. Not again. I was joking earlier. I actually do enjoy, or I really not enjoy. I like when developers.
I enjoy delays. Make people suffer.
I like when developers delay their games because you always end up with a higher quality
So
product.
I don't think the value is in the delay itself. It's in making a better product. Delaying it for delaying's sake doesn't mean anything. But delays tend to make that product better. So the delay itself's not good, but the work on the game is good.
And that's the thing here is Naughty Dog is being extremely open in why they're delaying it. They're not just like, we want to have this at the fiscal part of this year. They want to get the game out in a level of polish that is Naughty Dog quality, which I mean, just from the gameplay footage we've seen of Last of Us 2, I don't know if you've seen any gameplay. It's, oh my God.
It looks great.
Like the animations and the blending between the animations and just, I mean, I guess the graphics in general. I always think it's kind of a meme to say the graphics, but I mean, it's a very impressive looking game. And it is Naughty Dog quality, but you know, I'm really glad that they're taking the time to perfect this. And you know, we kind of touched on, or I just barely touched on how, you know, there's a good way to delay games, which is for polish, and there's a bad way to delay games, which is for financial reasons, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But this leads into our next topic, is that Ubisoft, their Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and it has underperformed.
John Bernthal did all he could.
That was a genuine laugh. I mean, it's, I don't know if y'all have seen, I think Crabcat put up a video. It was either Crabcat or someone else put up a Ghost Recon Breakpoint is broken kind of video. I mean, I knew before this game came out, just from things I had seen and things I had heard, that it looked like it was pretty much unfinished. And the game kind of speaks for itself in that way. So it's definitely in need of more polish, but the game severely underperformed, and the Division 2 also didn't do well this year, and so Ubisoft's stock fell about 29% in Paris. So, you know, they released 2 stinkers this year, with Breakpoint, them noting being an absolute stinker. Not just a stinker, but an absolute stinker. And so, you know, this is a disappointment for them. Absolutely. So they decided to move some games from their lineup this year to next year. So Gods and Monsters are being moved next year.
That shows a good level of confidence in your product.
Yeah, I'll explain this in a sec. But they're moving Gods and Monsters to next year, as well as Rainbow Six Quarantine and the new Watch Dogs. So the reason a company does this, and you know, correct me in the comments if I have this somewhat correct, but they don't want to. Basically, it's. What's the best way to put this? So their reputation is poop right now. So they want to make sure that they have, 1, quality products for next year, but 2, they also don't want to have like the bad reputation they have now affect sales, which could definitely happen. And then that'd bring their stocks down even further, and then it'd show their quarterly earnings being even lower.
Whoa. I think you mean to tell me we can't put out half-finished games that have a very, very low level of polish, expect them to sell well and be received?
Yes.
Are you out of your mind? It's 2019. We can do whatever we want, put out whatever games we want to, no matter how finished they are.
No, this is like, you can only get away with that for so long. Like
this is the year where everything's come to a head, it seems like.
I honestly so, and that kind of leads into you sent me this. This is so funny.
Bethesda's back, baby. You thought the canvas shortage was bad. You thought them doxing their players was bad, but oh no, they were not done with 2019 yet.
Did you? Okay, so no, you explain it, or I can do it if you want.
I'll do a bit. So basically, Fallout First they're launching it as a sort of addendum to the game. Yeah, so you would buy. Well, their reasoning was, we had a lot of feedback from the fans. They want us to include a lot of new things in Fallout 76, so we put behind a paywall. And
no. Can I correct that statement?
Yeah.
It says on the website for Fallout First. It's I'm sorry, for their page. It says these are things that fans have been asking for before the game released.
Okay, so
I just want to make an addendum to that.
Okay, yeah. I love too how Bethesda thought people wanted this in the game, and they registered that as, man, they really want to pay for it. So rather than thinking boy, this should have been a base thing in the game. They thought, okay, people want refrigerators. People would love to pay us money for refrigerators. How awesome is that? And so Fallout First was going to roll out. Apparently, it did roll out, and it's actually had a lot of glitches and issues, but we're going to leave that for now.
Yeah.
But they apparently, similar to the Joe Biden incident yesterday, they did not keep their domain under wraps. So someone, a fan, was able to purchase their domain and to troll them to no end about how bad Fallout First was. They got their domain jacked, and it's absolutely hilarious.
It's so funny. Did you go to it?
I did, yeah.
It is so funny. So they include most of the... Actually, I'm looking on the actual Fallout First page. It's pretty much one to one with Bethesda's page, but they just changed all the text and photoshopped all the pictures. Obviously, in our sources, we have the link for this. It's very funny. I highly recommend all of you go see it. And also, don't give Bethesda your money in this case.
No.
Give Bethesda your money for games like Doom and other quality products. So don't give it. Also, I was gonna mention, I hope that all the games that have gotten delayed. Honestly, I wish they all just came out on March 20th. Like Doom and freaking Animal Crossing.
Well, did you know
that
for Fallout First, the guy who did it ran a Kickstarter to get the domain renewed?
No way.
He got, yeah.
Did he really?
So,
oh my God,
if I remember correctly, he said, okay, I've got the domain now. I need enough money to pay it off for the next, whatever the time period is. And I think he raised the money.
Oh,
and
God,
so
God
FalloutFirst.com is still there with all of its lovely stuff, similar to the whole... I'm not sure if you heard about this, but just in short, the Joe Biden campaign had a pro-Latino website, Latinos for Biden, whatever it was.
Let's not get political.
No, I'm just saying,
is this
what happened with it was that they didn't buy their domain.
Oh, no.
And exactly the same thing happened, where within like an hour or two, a different campaign bought their website and just trolled the whole thing.
Oh, Lord.
Which it's like, okay, how do you not have your domain under locks when you launch your website?
For the fans, this is not political. This is just us commenting on
Bethesda
someone
is
doing
political.
something stupid.
No, I'm kidding. But I just think the whole
commenting on a person doing something stupid and a company doing something stupid.
I don't know how...
No political opinions.
How Bethesda... He had a website rolled out. Do you not check, what's our release on this domain? How long do we have this for?
Emerson. They've blown it all up to this point.
Oh, actually, to be fair, their release, or the schedule for it was in the canvas, the bag they lost. It was hidden in there somewhere.
Okay. It was... They lost it. They didn't get an emailed copy of the receipt.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to comment on this next story because this kind of surprised me. Actually, no, it didn't, because I hate... Anyway.
Yes.
So Luigi's Mansion 3 just got a lower score on... Wait, why'd you put a Metacritic?
I didn't. Oh, never mind.
Oh, that's...
yeah. I think... Did you type over that?
Oh, I guess I typed over that. Oops. No, so Luigi's Mansion got a lower score on Famitsu. This is, Japanese gaming. Yeah, all that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So Luigi's Mansion 3 got a lower score on Famitsu than Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. And funny enough, it got a lower score than Sonic Forces. That's so funny. Okay, so Famitsu, they always do their ratings in force. So they have 4 different reviewers. So for Luigi's Mansion, it got 3 8s and a 9. And then, that's just okay. Also, Weekly Famitsu also typically rates games pretty high. I don't know. I always take their reviews with a grain of salt, but that's just me. I think it's going to be a good game. It looks like a highly quality game. I've heard mixed things about some of the gameplay, especially the combat, and there's a lot of it, but it's also pretty repetitive. So we'll see how that ends up turning out. But that's something I wanted to note. But moving on to the next topic, because this is related, at least with Famitsu. So Persona 5 The Royal just got a review score this week. I got a 37 out of 40, so 3 9s and a 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the reviewers noted improved quality of life in the game, so battle transitions are more smooth, some new dialogue, yada, yada, yada. And they made sure to call it a JRP masterpiece. So that's another reason I want a PS4. Because, when Joker came out in Smash, everyone's like, oh, Persona 5's going to the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got Persona 5 Scramble. which actually looks really good. After that
The new trailer for it actually was pretty sick.
It looks so good. Like, I thought it was just going to be a warrior style game, but there's like so much more to it. But yeah, so another reason to get a PS4, especially this fall. But I think the North American release is next spring for Persona 5 The Royal. It's coming out the 31st in Japan here in October. And also on that note, P5R is 30 gigabytes. So it's a bit, I believe it's 10 gigabytes bigger than the original Persona game, Persona 5.
Though it still is kind of crazy how they can get that on 30 gigabytes. This massive 100+ hour game on 30 gigabytes.
Yeah, 100 plus hours, but also you got to think like texture resolutions and geometry and stuff is so much less than something like Modern Warfare, which one of my roommates just downloaded on his PS4. And that was, I think, 100 gigs.
It's been downloading for a week now.
Dude, it took me to download it onto my PC. It took me 4 hours just because our Wi-Fi is so terrible.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, it's so bad. When we play Smash, it's so laggy. But my Wi-Fi is terrible, and the game is 120 gigabyte download, and then once it uncompresses, or decompresses when it's fully downloaded, it's 175 gigabytes. It's so crazy, dude. It's so big.
It's just surprised, like Sucker Punched you with 50 gigabytes of worth of data. Like you thought we were 120. No, we're 170.
I will tell you, it is a beautiful game. So we went from P5R
beautiful blood splatters.
God, Modern Warfare. All right, interesting new development. There's a Switch controller patent, Switch Pro controller patent.
And it probably means nothing.
It probably, that's my assumption. You know, the website Nintendo Soup says that it seems as though that it has improved grips. In fact, in the patent pictures, it seems as though the grips can be removed. But unless that was just a diagram of, how the new grip is, I guess. Well, I mean, you need a new controller, don't you, Emerson? So you can wait, I guess.
Need is relative. I probably should get one because my left analog stick has some issues with not going all the way to the right. But I will survive.
That's the only way I've been able to take some games off of you and Smash. But yeah, so my advice to a fellow games journalist, am I right, is to hold off.
Actually, my advice to Nintendo is allow Wiimote support for the Switch.
That would be cool. But my advice to you, Emerson, my fellow game journalist, just wait and get one then.
But that's money. That's money.
It is money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's like 70.
It's a whole Stadia controller.
Bro, it's so expensive. Yeah, but the Stadia controller can't even connect to your PC wirelessly. Thanks, Google. All right, you wanna hit us up with the next story?
Okay, so the Luigi's Mansion track from Mario Kart DS is coming to Mario Kart Tour for Halloween. It's the first time we've seen Luigi's Mansion, this track in a Mario game since the DS era. It's finally back. Although I guess they're giving more outfits to Rosalina and King Boo. It's just kind of a generic Halloween event to market their game.
You mentioned that Luigi's in the game now.
Oh, he is? I didn't know he wasn't in the game in the first place.
Yeah, he's not in the game. He wasn't in the game. They waited until this event. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that, but I still haven't got the game.
Props for, I guess, smart marketing.
Yeah,
I guess.
We're gonna launch Luigi in Mario Kart, coincident with his game release on the Switch.
I mean, this is the first time we've seen.
In the words
you
of
literally
Robin, now that's strategy.
Wait, no, you read my note of the first time we've seen Luigi in a Mario Kart game in a long time as that Luigi's Mansion course.
Well, no, the course hasn't been
I was just making
a
joke.
No, because they've had the Haunted Mansion or Boo's Mansion for the last couple games, though, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't the Luigi's.
Exactly, the Luigi's one's coming back.
Or like the original, the one on the DS.
The DS one.
I just remember this one very explicitly because it was one of the few that you could play on Download Play, and so
Download Play was the stuff. I miss Download Play.
Download Play was so cool.
You had four guys in the car with one cartridge and all play Mario Kart. You were a bunch of shy guys, but still, I miss Download Play.
Oh yeah, they were shy guys.
They were shy guys, yeah.
And oh god, there's a couple of Switch games. I'm trying to remember which ones they are, but there's a couple Switch games that offer Download Play. Oh, I think, no, I was going to say Wolfenstein, the whatever the brand new one is. It kind of is, but not really.
The newest of Bloods. I don't know.
No, but like a traditional, I don't know. Yeah, so for our last story this week is...
In honor of a brave man.
In honor of a man who's braver than I, who can somehow go to sleep at night with this decision. So Mike,
Okay,
Mike
he can
Ybarra,
go to bed on his like page, his like pillows of gold. He's gonna take that
Seriously,
golden
though.
parachute into a pile of cash. He can sleep at night. Cry into your money bags, Mike Ybarra.
He takes his gold and parachutes in their pile of God. Okay. Anyway, so Mike Ybarra, so he was the 20-year Microsoft veteran. He left Microsoft earlier this month, and we were wondering, hey, Mike, where are you going? Well,
Oof.
he just joined.
He
We
surprised
found out where he's going.
everybody.
He surprised everybody in a stunning move. Mike Ybarra has joined
Beautiful
Blizzard
and
as the
brave.
executive vice president and general manager. So
Okay.
I don't. Okay, so here's the thing. In business, he probably got poached by Microsoft or by Blizzard a long time
Yeah, this
ago.
was
or at
in the
least
works.
months ago. Yeah, this
This
was
is
in
what
the
we
works.
call
All right.
an oofy poopy scoopy.
Yeah, this is
a no-no.
unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
So it's like you're reporting to work, or you're scheduled to report to work for a brand new job on Wednesday. All right. Well, as far as you know, everything's going fine. But as soon as you drive up to work on Wednesday, the whole place is on fire, but you're still expected to go in there and put out the fire. So that's kind of what he's walking into
You're
here
expected to go in there, put it out, and run the shop.
and run the shop. Well, I want to say I do have respect for him for continuing to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think that having someone with his leadership could do Blizzard some good. And I think, just because he's going to Blizzard doesn't make him a Chinese shill or whatever criticisms people may throw. I genuinely think with new leadership comes new perspectives and possibly new principles as well, and new pool. Pull, not POOL. Anyway.
Brand new pool.
Brand new pool. So he's actually going to attend BlizzCon on November 4th. So
That's brave.
God, oh man, I want to live stream BlizzCon just to see if someone sets it on fire, like sticking on the top of the fire.
Though I think it's good he's going to be the VP, not the president, because we all know the president currently is Xi Jinping. So.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But anyway, that's it for the news.
Honestly, Mike Ybarra should be knighted for this.
Seriously,
this is called bravery in the face of adversity.
This is. I mean, honestly, it's probably too late to back out, regardless, without some financial consequence.
Well,
but
he probably had a contract signed, something where this is way in the works.
He'll be good.
Yeah.
He got totally poached.
Well, worst case scenario, people are mad at him, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go home and cry into my millions of dollars." What's the worst they can do to him? Honestly, let's say he bombs on the BlizzCon and everyone hates what he says and everything. Okay, what they're gonna buy? They're still gonna buy your games.
You just say, yeah. He'll ask him if they have a phone.
Yeah,
What's the quote?
Do you guys not have phones?
Oh yeah, something like that.
Or do you mean is this an out of season April Fool's joke? Which quote?
Yeah, I don't know.
There were a couple good ones.
Honestly, yeah, whatever. But again.
Yeah.
I will levy my criticisms when necessary.
And speaking of having phones, you guys should all go on your phone right now, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to us on YouTube.
Hey, bro, that was really good. Like that was excellent. Mm-hmm. That was such a good.
So, I mean, we know everyone listening to this does have a phone.
Yeah. Yo, we should get a Patreon and start putting our Press Y behind a paywall. It's brilliant. All right. Okay. Cool.
Only for $100 a year subscription fee. And we need to launch it in a terrible, glitchy fashion in which no one's happy.
Yeah, and we just got to buy our domain. Yes. You can't forget that.
That's the one thing we have to do.
Let's move on to our Press Y for this week.
Okay.
Do you have one, or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. So, my Press Y this week, and again, I've talked about this. I've harped on it for weeks, but I do want to mention it, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I will say Infinity Ward has put a ton of effort and care into this game. I'm talking a ton. I don't like the maps in the multiplayer. I think some of them, it just doesn't feel right for some reason. I don't know. But as far as the level of detail goes, I believe they used, I can't remember the technical term for it, but essentially took photographs of like guns and objects and stuff and scanned them into the game, basically. So all the models, all of the everything is like super realistic, super high geometry, super high detail, and the game is beautiful. Like, it's beautiful. I play it on PC on my ultra wide monitor. It's phenomenal. Like, it is an experience. So far, I haven't touched the campaign too much. I played through actually most of the first mission, not all of it, but most of it. And I've watched some stuff before the game came out, but it's pretty compelling. It's very impressive. It's a really cool experience, and the fact that they're able to get it running at mostly 60 FPS on consoles is very impressive. I have heard that PS4, not PS4 Pro, but PS4 has struggled a bit as far as frame rate goes, but me and my roommate have been playing some 2v2s since it is crossplay, and he hasn't had any issues, and we've been loving it. Like, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And I really implore y'all, if you haven't had, if you're not a big into shooters, this is definitely, like, if you just buy it for the campaign, it really is worth it. Like, the storytelling, just from the bit I've seen, as well as just from the little bit that I've played, the storytelling is excellent. The visuals are incredible. It's extremely cinematic. And the other thing is they maintain this level of realism in putting you in, like, the shoes of, a very,
in the
obviously a fake
combat boots
soldier.
of.
Yeah, in the combat boots of a
They're not
fake
wearing
soldier.
Converse out there.
Right. But there's such small attention to detail, like large attention to detail. So for one, in the first mission, you're hiding in the woods in the first part, and there's these two, like, guards that come up on your squad, and you wait for your teammates or your squad mates, and one of them says, "All right, drop them." And so they all wait, and I was expecting them to start shooting and just take out the guys for me. Well, they're waiting for you to shoot, and so as soon as you shoot one, all of your teammates shoot the other ones.
That's pretty
cool.
There's
like little, it's cool. So there's like attention to detail in that sense. It makes you feel like you're really part of the narrative, and you're really in that, like, super uber tactical operator role or whatever, even though you're just a fat guy playing games on your mom's basement couch.
Now, how fat?
It's
don't body shame, Gunner. I don't press Y for body shaming.
I'm not body shaming. I'm not fat either. But so anyway,
press Y for fitness.
Press Y for fitness, bro. I should start Press Y Fitness. I'm a meathead. Anyway, it's a great game. And Emerson, I know you're not super into shooters, but if you had to check out a shooter, I'd implore you to try out that, as well as try out Doom. But so that's my Press Y for this week, and hopefully I can stop harping on Modern Warfare, because I know it's been basically the lifetime of this series. I've been harping on it and been really excited, and so far.
And now it's punching you in the teeth with quality.
All right, now hit us up.
All right,
I gotta get going,
so,
man.
as you know, I have been this week. I've compiled a list of all the games I played this year, and have been ordering them from best to worst, kind of ranking them as I go, from dislike to neutral to like to great. I'm going to press Y for my number one game of the year so far, and these are the ones I played this year, not that they've come out this year. But the number one game I played this year has been Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm pressing Y for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because that game is absolutely fantastic. I have not been more absorbed in a game than I have been in that for a long time. I even remember I
can attest.
I did the game in 4 days.
Wait, what?
I did Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in 4 days.
You did it in 4 days?
Yes.
What was your playtime?
40-ish hours. I think 42. Or 42 or under, but around that.
Dang. I think it took me, to beat the campaign and doing a lot of side quests, it took me like 60. Oof. Dang, dude. And so probably like 2 weeks.
As you know, I do a lot of rush playthroughs. Because
you're very quick in games.
I tend to take the challenge of being really underleveled and blasting through a game. But
Emerson's a smart cookie.
It was MLK weekend, so I had Monday off. I remember from Friday till Monday, I was just playing Xenoblade. I left for lunch on Monday after finishing the game. I remember I was biking to lunch, and I just kind of was like out of it. Like, what even am I? Like, is this all real? Because I haven't leave my dorm for 3 days. But anyway, that was such a great game. But I can't remember being as absorbed in the story in a game as I was in that. Even today, I watched some cutscenes of characters and just like dialogue, whatever, different scenes. I remember how great that game was. The combat was okay. I think it was better than one. Not as good as
also
Torna.
Extremely flawed. Yeah. Actually, I was talking to a guy in my class. There's a guy in my class that's like, he's the best player, best Smash player in my area. Mm-hmm. And we were actually talking about Xenoblade, and that's one of the things he said is that the combat's better than one. But Torna is definitely the best. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Because it's so streamlined. my biggest complaint, I'll let you get back to your point, but I wanted to say I think the biggest flaw in the combat is the blade system and how many blades there are and how the gotcha mechanic goes into that. As in, you roll the dice. I think if it was more
okay,
set
you
on
got
what you
Cosmos. Like
I did.
during the campaign,
I didn't realize it was so rare.
I had a friend of mine who literally would grind legendary cores months. He couldn't get Cosmos. He gave up and moved on to Torna after about like 6 months. And you got perspective. You got Cosmos like immediately.
Or I'm sorry, for some context, Cosmos, I think, is it 1% or less than 1%?
Oh, it's less than 1. It's like 0.01 or something like that. 0.1, 0.01.
I got Cosmos just randomly in the game, and I thought, man, this character sucks. Or this blade sucks, just because I didn't know how to optimize my team at that point. And so I just like stuffed her, and I was talking with one of my other buddies, like, what, you got Cosmos? Like, yeah. He's like, bro, that's like whatever % chance. I was like, oh, cool. But yeah, I completely agree with you there. It's seriously, it's a very absorbing story, but I don't think it's as absorbing as the first game. I think it's better.
I think so.
Better animated,
I think
better
the
voice
cast
acted.
was better in 2 because of the first game. You got your Shulk and your Dunban, and you guys Melia, and then it's like Sharla. Okay.
What about Riki?
Oh, Heropon's awesome. Yeah.
He's kind of undeniable.
You do have Heropon, but yeah, I mean, Shulk's a really developed character. Riki's fun. Dunban's awesome. Ryan's funny. Sharla.
Zanza's awesome.
Well, yeah, spoilers, Zanza. Keep that out of there. And same with number 7. Don't talk about number 7. But anyway, I think Xenoblade had a better story overall. But the cast, they interact so much in Xenoblade 2, and the cast also they all have their own like desires in the game. Because with Xenoblade. Like, once the whole thing with Colony 6 happens, why is Sharla with you? Yeah, she has a brother rebuilding the colony, and she leaves him behind. Like, okay.
She's just...
Like, why? A lot of people, they're just kind of there to do their role. She's your medic. Like, okay, well,
she's the healer.
Yeah. Whereas you look at Nia from 2, and Nia's a great character on top of being a fantastic healer. And so I think 2, ultimately, I would prefer 2 to 1 just because 2 has much better characters than 1 does. And it's ultimately a more engaging combat system, and red tagging is stupid in 1. But I will say they're all great games, but 2 was my favorite game of the year that I played this year.
Yeah.
Not that it came out this year.
I completely... Wait, no, it came out...
It came out, I think, last year, December, right?
December.
That's why I was saying I played it this year. So it was my game of the year
I played it this
year. Yeah.
I forget that I played it earlier this year.
I can't remember last time I've been so absorbed in a game that I've just binged it. Like, literally, a lot of games that have been great. I did it a lot with like the Telia series Fire Emblem, where I play them a lot, but I haven't sat and just binged a game like I did for Xenoblade 2 in a long time.
It's absorbing. It truly is addicting, and I think just from watching gameplay and seeing battles, it turns a lot of people off because they think, oh, that looks too complicated. Well, it's also... You can play it as simple or as complicated as you want.
Yeah.
You have to go through the motions. Like, you have to understand an RPG in that you have a healer, you have an attacker, you have a tank. Like, you have to understand those fundamental things of just an RPG game. And then you have to understand just the basics of the combat mechanics. But if you have the basics down, you can beat the game. Or you can figure out how to do really cool teams, and then you can not necessarily one shot, but you can destroy bosses and figure out all these cool setups. And all this other stuff. It's a very absorbing game in so many different ways. And I wanted to comment on one thing, too. You mentioned how all the characters felt more... They interacted better together.
They all have their motivations as well.
Yes, so that's clearly shown in the story, but another way it's shown is in the heart-to-hearts.
Oh, those are much better in 2.
There's not like essentially a requirement.
Yeah.
Or pay...
there are requirements.
But they're
it's
much
not
more... to the degree...
Yeah. They're doable.
Yeah, it's not to the degree of... Yeah, it's much more doable than the first game. So I hit almost no heart-to-hearts in the first game.
I hit maybe 2.
Yeah, no, I think that's all I hit. Yeah, exactly.
I one at the beginning and then 1 late in the game.
Yeah, because I'd just be me randomly checking through all my inventory on my... I played the 3DS version of Xenoblade. I'd be checking through my inventory or my menus, and I'd see, I'm able to do this heart-to-heart. And so back when I'm in that area, if it's in Gower Plains or whatever, I'd do it. But it's nowhere near as in-depth or as accessible as the ones in XCT.
All right. As Malice was saying, it's time for us to wrap up this
It's time
podcast.
for us to wrap things up, man. This was a long... Man, we're cranking out some long ones. All right, boys and girls and gamers of all creeds and games.
Gamers of all games. Hear my cry.
Shout out to that guy who I still haven't listened to your album. I promise I will one day, but shout out to you. Bro, when we're famous, we'll still mention you. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, follow us on